The rumor is that Disney's Snow White movie might actually be cutting Snow White, Rachel Zegler, from the film.
Rachel Zegler is once again causing trouble for Disney after she decided to very openly go against her co-star Gal Gadot due to her political views, something which even her own fans can't get behind. And with the way she's been talking about Snow White in interviews, Disney seems to have had enough and is deciding to cut back on her scenes by bringing in a new actress. Recent reports from several entertainment industry insiders seem to suggest that Disney is actually trying to address the fallout from Rachel Zegler's extremely controversial remarks by completely changing huge parts of the narrative of their upcoming Snow White adaptation. Rumors even hint at the fact that they might be introducing a new storyline centered around a younger iteration of the beloved Snow White, all in an attempt to minimize Rachel's presence on screen. This move looks to be an attempt at damage control in order to try and soften the portrayal of Snow White that Rachel has gotten so much criticism for. By splitting the role in two, it actually gives Snow White a chance to be more liked by people, as it's not all on Rachel's shoulders. Rachel's outspoken commentary on this new woke side of Snow White and all the changes that are being made to the original plot have garnered extremely negative reactions from the public, especially from longtime fans who have grown up with the iconic storyline that Disney is now trying to change. And it seems like enough is enough, as even Disney has gotten tired of Rachel's many comments, and it has prompted them to reevaluate her role within the film. This development definitely proves exactly how impactful audiences are to the entertainment industry, as it's proven exactly how much Disney would lose out on if they didn't make changes fast. This definitely scores Disney some brownie points as well, since it just goes to show that they aren't completely willing to throw away their fan base and are still somewhat committed to doing their original masterpieces justice. In response to the continuous backlash stemming from Rachel's critique of the original narrative, Disney appears to introduce a whole new dimension to the story by expanding on Snow White's formative years through an entirely new actress. However, that doesn't mean all the skepticism has gone away, as fans are still some doubtful of this solution, seeing as Disney hasn't had the best track record with their last-minute changes. In fact, fans are very worried about how successful this movie will be, considering the many changes that have been made to it, including the fact that it's already been delayed an entire year. Seeing as Disney has to invest so much money in trying to fix something that was almost irreparably broken, many believe that it should have just been scrapped a long time ago. Online discourse has also suggested that many fans seem to have started to lose interest in Disney productions because of how hard they're having to fight for such what seemed to be a pretty straightforward movie. Insiders suggest that Disney is trying to salvage some of their fans' interest in their movie and their overall company by aiming to humanize the Snow White character by exploring her backstory through flashbacks and origin stories. This new strategy not only seeks to give the narrative more diversity, but also aims to save the movie by cutting back on Rachel's portrayal of the character. If the decision to decrease Rachel's screen time proves one thing, it's the fact that Disney is definitely receptive to fan feedback, and fans could truly have an influence in these decisions, as long as they speak up. By bringing in a new actress to embody the younger version of Snow White in ways that Rachel can't, Disney still manages to give the classic tale the feel of something new, while also preserving its timeless essence. These very strategic revisions prove Disney's commitment to innovation. However, they also show exactly how much Disney is willing to pander to their wider audiences to gain as much money as possible, something which they've gotten plenty of criticism for in the past. These new changes are definitely for the better, but fans can't help but notice the fact that it took millions of people threatening to boycott the company for Disney to do something about Rachel's sabotage. However, despite the not-so-subtle moves from Disney's side, fans are reacting positively to the news of a new Snow White that could cut back on Rachel's portrayal of the role. The young actress is suspected to be Amelia Fowker, who definitely seems to do the role justice, as she looks like the perfect little Snow White. But despite the speculations and the insider tips about Amelia's takeover, Disney has yet to issue an official statement on these new developments. It looks like it might be something they're trying to keep under wraps in order to still surprise general audiences. However, with the movie still in production, there is still plenty of room for more change. So it's possible that the studio is trying to not speak too soon on these kinds of things. Ultimately, Disney's new Snow White movie's success depends on how they blend old and new elements. While some fans were excited about Rachel Zegler's role at first, recent changes show that even they might have been getting put off by her portrayal, which is why these changes absolutely need to be made. As Disney tries to reinvent the classic tale, they face the challenge of pleasing both nostalgic fans and those hungry for fresh storytelling. This shows that in filmmaking, audience feedback is crucial, and even your own supporters could turn against you if you're not careful. Another issue that Rachel has had lately, which even her own fans have started to criticize, is the fact that she and Gal Gadot are on two very opposite sides of a political spectrum. The glaring ideological chasm between Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot has cast a shadow over their professional collaboration, raising doubts about their ability to work together. With Gal loudly advocating for Israel and Rachel's ongoing support for Palestine, their opposing viewpoints represent two very different positions on one of the most serious geopolitical issues of our time. Such stark differences in their beliefs will no doubt spill over into their public personas, shaping not only their social media presence, but also their presence in the entertainment industry. The fact that they now have to navigate these extremely opposing ideologies while also working together for the Snow White movie seems like an impossible task, especially since it could seriously affect their working relationship if it hasn't already. Some netizens are actually displeased with the fact that Rachel has decided to speak up about this very serious issue, since they don't believe she has any grounds to stand up for such a cause, as she isn't actually Palestinian herself. While Gal Gadot has genuine connections to one part of the conflict due to her being an ex-IDF member, many believe that Rachel should have kept things more professional by staying out of this particular issue. However, it's not just those who are against Rachel's role in all of this who have issues with the fact that she doesn't agree with Gal. In fact, her very own fans have expressed dismay and disappointment over Rachel's decision to star in a project alongside Gal, despite their misaligned ideologies. For many, Rachel's association with Gal, given their contrasting positions on the Israel-Palestine conflict, appears to counteract any sort of activism she is doing in order to help Palestine. Rachel has been very openly pro-Palestine for years now, and has even made those views public by tweeting about it. It will always be Free Palestine. The decision to align herself professionally with an individual whose views stand in stark opposition to her own principles has sparked criticism and disillusionment among Rachel's fans, not just because the current conflict is so serious, but also because it really speaks to her character. One person even wrote online saying, "Snow White press tour with Gal Gadot is gonna be interesting." Gal has not just been passively advocating for Israel either, as she has actively engaged in spreading messages about the criticized Zionist ideology by writing, "I stand with Israel, you should too. The world cannot sit on the fence when these horrific acts of terror are happening." She has even helped set up an LA screening of a film that showed footage of what had gone down on October 7th, something which she received criticism for, as many believed it borderline propaganda. Some have even started to question the sincerity of Rachel's activism, viewing her involvement with Gal as a form of betrayal of her professed values, and some even going as far as to suggest that she's promoting Gal's pro-Israel stance. This has led to all sides questioning Rachel's motives and integrity, which has not only led to tension within her fan community, but has also cast a shadow over her future professional career. Can understand how Rachel Zegler is openly pro-Palestine, but in the same will work with an ex-IDF soldier. Like, do celebrities actually care about Palestine, or do they claim to care so they can have a good image? Some people have even pointed out the fact that Rachel has been encouraging her fans to donate to Palestine without actually making it clear whether or not she is actually doing anything to help herself. Have you donated today? Have you called your government leaders to put pressure on world leaders to call for a ceasefire? Your activism should go beyond your social media. She especially received criticism for asking fans to donate out of their own pockets, while she is the one with lots of money, and paired with her hypocritical actions, many were ready to criticize this move. However, while many are criticizing Rachel's actions, there's a whole other side of the internet who believes that they both should have stayed quiet in this particular situation if they wanted their professional careers to come out on top. Many believe that if neither had put out any new statements, the backlash would have been minimal, as it wouldn't have interfered with the movie. Many fans seem to be of the belief that actors shouldn't be vocal about politics, as their most important role isn't to be politicians, but to entertain as many people as possible, which would be ruined the second they decide to start taking sides. Remember the good old days when we didn't know who actors voted for? Those were simpler times. Better times. Some people are even criticizing Rachel in particular, as she made her bad situation even worse by deciding to go against her coworker, something which not even her own fans could get behind. The fact that she is now getting criticism from both sides is why most people believe that she truly deserves to have her screen time cut from the movie, as this iconic piece of history shouldn't be associated with Rachel's many failures over the past few years. Do you guys think Rachel has any chance of saving her Snow White role? Let me know down below, and don't forget to check out this other video.